Okay, so game number 1, part 2 is going to be played in, let's turn everything off. Yep, it's going to be on Meatballs. So that's this kind of weird map. Everybody is starting on their home island, having a bit of extra resources like some sheep, 2 gold and stone mines, and a lot of deer. That's double deer in here, but that's pretty much it because a low amount of stragglers in here, which is basically important to know when you want to transition into the mainland in here, and where to build extra TCs, and of course where to somehow establish yourself to be better prepared or best prepared for your opponents to arrive. Looking at the civilizations, we see Mayans, Mongols, Vikings for BYTs, whereas VIKs are Huns, Mayans, Vikings. So there is a switch of Huns and Mongols. Interesting. And since this is the other home map of BYTs, I'm fully expecting that they are going to be having some special plan up their sleeves. In the meantime, we just might as well having a bit of a look around. You can see that. This is curious. This is very curious because this is actually Kirch from the Berserkers from VIK, and against him is ByT Poxo. So are we going to be seeing some extra water fighting between them? This is kind of unusual. I don't really remember seeing this in the previous games that I've seen on this map, but maybe it's usual. I don't really know. I haven't seen all that many of them, to be honest. But I'm really curious how the players are going to be reacting to this. So far, they of course don't know. Yeah, they have absolutely no idea that they're actually connected in here, and they are probably going to be playing something standard, transporting onto the mainland exactly at the same time, most of them, and then they may be discovering that there is a bit of a problem with the water and might be wanting to come back a bit more. There we have seen a bit of a gold on the right side, a lot of wood all around the map. Gold in here on the left between Cambridge and Monaymont. This is a pretty good spot for them to land, both of them, with a bit of stone at the bottom also and a gold. Whereas extra gold and stone on the left, so not really sure where the blue player wants to go. This is going to be very easily wallable. Yeah, just 3 choke points basically that he can very easily wall. Whereas in the middle, that would be a pretty strong double base between him and Cambridge. So yeah, let's see what they are going to choose in here. We have seen a dock placed by Winchester in the forefront in a pretty good spot next to the fishies, and since there's a lot of fishies absolutely everywhere, you don't really expect any kind of problems with the placement of the docks in here. Behind his bases and the islands is a bit of extra stone and gold, so that's something to protect and scout. Extra gold in here. So yeah, that's a pretty good positioning for the map. Also, a lot of gold really on the left side, so that's going to be pretty important for VIKs to somehow protect for the later game, so that they have undisrupted economy as opposed to their opponents, for example, because they don't really have anything at the back, just 1 gold mine, and that's pretty much it, second in here, whereas their opponents have like 4, so that's a bit of a difference, and definitely have to hope that it's not going to be something that will be breaking the game for them. So it seems like kind of boring map, at least for the start. There's not much to be talking about, with the dock being placed in here. Dock 4 also in the forefront. Blue dock is at the bottom. This is interesting. This is different. Not sure if interesting, but different, of course. And maybe he's going to be hoping that he can transport to the back into a bit more defensive position. And well, yeah, that might be something of an idea for him. And it really seems like a theme for BYTs, because Cambridge is also going for a dock at the bottom, whereas Poxo is the only one who is going a bit more into the offensive position, into the forefront. And last player, Courage, is on the other side, a bit more into the defensive, as opposed to Winchester and Warrior. Well, that's interesting in here to notice. Yeah, having a bit of fun with the luring of the deer, so that he doesn't have to waste extra wood on the mill. It's definitely a pretty good idea. And well, since you don't have all that extra to do in here, why not? You can actually put all your attention on just this. So first few village is going to be from Cambridge at just 19 villages. Whereas everybody else seems to be going for a bit more, like 20 plus. Winchester is going to be last, the next one with 20. And we should probably be seeing the other players as well clicking in. So I would expect that all of them will be playing some kind of similar strategies, but as you can see, it's not really all that true. As the remaining players that are not coming into the next age yet are just booming quite nicely at 22 already, Monaimon with Poxo, whereas VIKs are at 21 already. And yeah, you can see right now just Poxo is recognizing that he's going to be having a bit of a water fight in here with his opponent Courage. Courage is seeing the same. So they are knowing that they're actually connected and there might be a bit of a fun in the feudal age. So let's see. Courage is going to be advancing faster than his opponent Poxo, as Poxo was probably hoping that he can be booming a bit more without any kind of threat and problem. And since his goal is quite close by to the shoreline, that could be a bit of a problem with the trees here as well. And he might want to transport as soon as possible because this is getting a bit more problematic for him. And if Courage is able to make use of this, well, that would be a pretty big thing. This goat is basically the same problem for Courage if Poxo manages to win with the water. But look at how he's going to be faster by like, I don't know, half a minute. In War Galley battles, that could be an eternity. Interestingly hitting gold behind the tree line in here, but that's pretty much it. And we are seeing that Red is right now scouting a bit around with the fishing ship, trying to find what is around him, but that's pretty much it. Bit of idles in here under the TC. For a warrior, not really sure what to do, it seems. And these guys are just waiting in here at the top, and they seem to be waiting for transport ship. Yeah, right now transport ship is coming in. So he's going to be one of the first ones to actually go into the mainland, and is he going to be literally the first one? No, he's going to be just the second with Winchester. So Winchester is waiting for extra villagers, and he seems to be having a pretty good spot in here. So I'm fully expecting that Winch will be arriving in a pretty sweet spot if he goes for a bit of scouting first with the scouting cavalry. And yeah, he sees the gold, so that's going to be a good placement for the gold mining camp or even some lumber camp, not exactly sure, probably lumber. Yeah, because he's already out of the wood lines, the one on the left, so he's going to be looking for something a bit more efficient in here. So he is definitely finding that right about now. Otherwise, we don't see a landing from the green player yet. And we don't even see any galley rushing so far. But extra dogs, okay, extra dogs from green are though coming up, so this is kind of signaling to us that there's going to be a bit of a fun. On the blue expanse, galley coming in, of course, so Courage might be a bit of a problem, because he doesn't seem to be catching up on this. He's not even built its second dog, so he is most definitely going to be surprised quite substantially. And it seems like that Courage is not even aware of some proper strategy on this map. I'm fairly sure about it. So he's going to be quite nastily surprised, and this might be the reason why Poxo and his teammates from ByT went for this map as the second home map. And well, yeah, bit of a problem's coming your way, because you can see that Courage was attempting to actually transport himself, but he's going to be finding himself under some war galleys. So this is very nicely placed, very nicely played by the green player. And let's see. Oh, whoa! Oh my! He needs to hurry up. He needs to hurry up quite soon. Careful there. Oh, fishing boat, fishing boat. Oh man. Wow. That was super close. I think that if this last shot went into the transport ship, he actually might have made it in time. Well, that's a bit of a shame for Boxer. That would have been a pretty big blow, just losing 5 villages like that at the transport ship. And that would be pretty terrible indeed. You can see Castle Age for Courage being clicked in right about now. And that was quite interesting indeed. You can see that Cambridge is already landed as well, as we have expected. He's going for a bit of a scout cavalry raiding. Actually a lot of it, and Warrior is playing this quite carefully with extra defense by the towers, and that's quite interesting to see because he wants to advance into the next age, going for coinage. So hoping that he's going to be slinging as a Viking, which is understandable. And right now he's just going to be hoping to establish himself as much as he can with the towers and such, and then hoping that his teammates can protect him long enough. Winchester is already going to be ready with the blacksmith. So that means Castle Age for him coming up as well. Some mill being built for farms and something like that. But looking at Winchester, he's probably going to go for a bit of scout cavalry as well. But so far he isn't, going for horse collar and double bit axe. So yeah, that's pretty much standard. It's probably the same play as last game. Yep, with the scout collar at the bottom, trying to disrupt what so far Moneymon is doing. So Moneymon is kinda halfway successful into landing. So he should probably switch somewhere else, like on the right side where his opponent or rather his ally is. So yeah, safety in numbers of course. Whereas Green has also landed in here, so everybody has successfully landed, and there is still going to be a bit of raiding on the water by the Green player, as he wants to deny any extra economy to his opponent, and of course also deny the gold in here, in his own base, which is also pretty important, and the stone as well. Yeah, this is nicely played. This was nicely played, a nice idea by Boxo, and putting Courage slightly behind. Unfortunately for Courage though, he has managed to lose almost all the villages. You can see he's left with just one girl left, and 4 others have already died to the raiding by the scout cavalry from the yellow player. So this is very, very nicely played, and definitely not a good game for the teal player, whereas still going quite nicely for ByTs. Quite nicely going for ByTs, and it seems like that in the pocket Cambridge is doing, or rather having a pretty nice game. You can see that he's leading by quite a lot, by 200 points, and I don't think there is a sling yet. That is right now from Warrior into Courage, which is expected. We have seen the coinage a bit before, and since he is Viking, he cannot really supply anything into the battles on land, so why bother? And let's just send the resources into somebody who can like Courage, who is Mayan. Oh, that's a pretty good choice, but obviously he needs a bit more extra help, as he's having all kinds of troubles establishing himself on the mainland, which is due to very nice play by the Green player, who is right now attempted to be countered by fire ships. Yeah, it's not going to be all that easy, as the Castle Age from ByTs is going to be just coming in from Moneymon first. And it seems like that this should be enough defense for all those villages to get on the mainland quite fast enough, especially with the castle right now being built at pretty good spot, as it's both going to be defending the water and also pretty good beachhead for him to establish himself on the mainland. Bit of a raid in between, or rather battle between scout cavalry in the middle, as Moneymon is trying to go into the middle a bit with town center, as he has advanced through Castle Age. But yeah, Winchester is establishing himself quite well, so I'm just fully expecting that he should be also advancing into the next age reasonably soon. With the Spearman, nicely played. Oh, this is going to be a disaster for yellow. This was a very nice trap. Very nice trap indeed. So, yeah, that was very nice to see indeed. Otherwise, not much action on the map. Just Green establishing himself quite nicely in here, next to his island, and Teal just trying to take the battle to his opponent, trying to disrupt the water economy, and that's basically all he can do. And even though there is still a lot of water actually to be had, you can see a lot of fishes in here, which I'm not exactly sure why Poxo isn't using, as that's a pretty nice bonus, isn't it? Well, he is basically thinking that maybe with the Castle Age from Courage, it's kinda useless and it would be just a waste of resources, but I'm not all that positive about that just now. Outpost being built, walls as well, as Castle Age is coming for Winchester and Cambridge. And war galleys for blue? Why? Why exactly? Why exactly would you build or rather research war galleys? You are Viking, of course, that's alright. But what's the reason for that? I don't really understand it, because there's of course not going to be all that much of a water battle if he wants to protect this mainland, which I'm not sure why he would want to do so all that much, as it's still going to be decided on the mainland in here. Well, I kinda think that it's a wasted resources, but still, let's see, maybe there's some kind of plan behind it, because this is ByT's home map. Walling going on in the middle, as that's a pretty nice one, and blue should definitely finish with the Walling on the left, so that they have some kind of safe trade route at the back, which is most definitely going to be something they will be aiming for very, very soon, as 3 TCs are a reality for the blue player already. And with the walls finished on the left by Winchester, it seems like it's just a one-way through, as he's just now discovering, quite nicely scouted by the cavalry, so that he isn't surprised by anything. He is also in a pretty good position to help his teammate Warrior in the middle, who is just right now having towers to help him, and that seems to be more than enough against the scout cavalry. In the meantime, the slunk Courage is basically establishing himself with all the town centers and the castle. So yeah, yellow is going to be slightly disappointed to see that. And he's establishing himself quite nicely. So far having 34 villagers, which is the least of them all, but with the sling and with the reinforcements into the village line and the castles and such, yeah, should be turning around quite nicely. Bit of a fun of the spearman. On the village in here, as Cambridge is trying to finish with the wall as well, and since Kirch is already joining in, he's going to be getting rid of this villager, so the wall is not gonna get finished. And that's a slight problem for Cambridge, obviously. That's a slight problem for him, as, yeah, he was definitely hoping that he can secure this part of the map and advance it to the next ages and then be quite happy. Go in with any kind of raiding that he was attempting to do. He's Mongol, so he wants to advance into Imperial with decent economy, but so far, yeah, not having that kind of luck, as he's still at 1 town center, even though he is already in the next age. Winchester has also advanced and he's going for cavalry archers, so that seems like a bit of a switch, as opposed to what I was thinking a bit earlier, going for town center next to gold. And this is going to be quite a good map for him, as there's going to be a lot to raid. Oh, is he going to get lucky? Doesn't seem so at this point, so it seems like that Cambridge will be lucky. But with the knights in here from Cambridge, yeah, he really needs to be careful, Winchester, in here, as he doesn't want to engage all that many horses at once. Going to the bottom. Next to gold mine, that's a pretty good idea, of course, to check the gold, and he is discounting them in time. Oh well, that's a tough break. Even though it looked like the Cambridge might be getting lucky, he isn't in the end, and this is horrible. Oh, he's losing 3 villages. Much more importantly, he's not finishing another town center, he's having just 1. You can see that he's raided also at the bottom by my warrior's teammate Courage, and oh well, yellow is right now having a pretty tough game. And even though they were having advantage in the early stage, right now it's kinda turning against them. And even in the economy, you can see that Boxo is right now dropped to 35. As he's getting quite heavily raided by the yellow player, and yeah, he's going to be all about this castle, and he really needs to finish it, so he's going to be even sacrificing all the villages in here, and this is just too tough to watch. 30 villages, and I think that he was having quite a lot extra, so he was like 50. Basically similar to Moraimon and his allies or other enemies. So yeah, this is quite painful, and even though he was able to finish with the castle, the sling into Courage is just too much, it seems like, and yeah, Courage is probably going to be the deciding factor in this game overall. And yeah, and it's pretty good trade-in by Winchester as well. Definitely putting a dent into ByT's plans, as Moraimon is dropping in the village account in here. And even though he's still having pretty decent numbers, as he is having extra TCs at the bottom and having docks on the left, so there's going to be a bit of a water battle. And that's the reason why he went for the war galleys. He definitely did have a plan in here, in his mind, and he's trying to push Winchester out of the game in here. And well, he might be succeeding with it, at least in here on the home island, but it doesn't really matter all that much. You can see that even Winchester is already ready with some fire ships himself, so yeah, that's a bit of a problem for blue. But much more importantly, he's already in castle age and set up quite nicely on the mainland, which means that this doesn't really bother him all that much. This doesn't bother him all that much, as he's already doing quite a good job on land and doesn't need this at all. Yeah, he just needs to transport everything, and he's going to be pretty much safe against his opponent. Town center, and siege workshops. Yep, quite nicely prepared for his opponent. A lot of raid instinct going on at the bottom, with Courage advancing into Imperial Age, and they are making life very difficult for the yellow player, who has finished with the starting town center and is coming down with pretty bad army for weeks. This is something that could definitely put a stop to all the raiding. Those knights with the scout cavalry guys, and well, there is still a pretty good chance that something interesting could be happening in here. But look at how green is just getting absolutely heavily raided, absolutely hammered in here. Not even the castle is going to save him all that much, and on the water it's not much better. You can see all the fire ships from Courage with the war galleys from Boxo. Well, this is a pretty big battle in here. And here the water battle makes a whole lot more sense, because they were connected from the beginning, and having a bit of a fight in there for quite some time, and whoever wins the water battle in here is going to be disrupting the economy of his opponent quite strongly. with the caveat that Courage doesn't mind all that much. First, he is on land, quite nicely set up. Second, he is slunk, of course. So that is a bit of a problem for the green player, Boxo, in here. Just right now, we'll probably need to do something extra with the defense in here. Probably some castle would be nice to protect his food economy, at least at this point. Oh, careful, Winchester. Oh, careful, boy. You are playing with fire in here. Yeah, just managed it. It's the last moment. And well, yellow has basically taken care of the situation at the bottom. We still see some purple dots in there, a bit below it on the minimap, but that's pretty much it. And you can see that yellow is right now going to be raiding into his opponent Winchester, and to put him out of the game at least a bit. And Courage is right now into Imperial Age with Moneymon clicking up as well. And is actually Moneymon also being slunk? No, he isn't. So that's actually well played by Moneymon so far, that he's able to basically keep up with a slunk opponent. But he needs to hurry up with somehow cleaning up on the left side against Winchester, because otherwise, yeah, Courage will be having a pretty strong upper hand against his opponent Boxo. And even though Boxo seems to be doing a pretty good job on the water, it doesn't matter all that much of this nicely placed castle protecting this economy, as really he isn't all that well set up in here. And if Courage can actually advance on him sooner rather than later, yeah, he's still going to be in pretty deep trouble. You can see that Courage is even using villages to get through to the gold. That's how desperate he is to get to it and to his opponent as well. But since there is another row of walls, yeah, it's going to take a bit more than just these dudes. Raiding at the bottom, on the extra town center and the market, of course. Whereas, in the middle, not much extra happening so far, as Winchester is not really all that prepared to do anything else, whereas the yellow is doing a pretty good job, at least trying to keep his opponent Courage busy. But since Courage is having quite a big army right now, he is probably going to be advancing on his opponent pretty soon, just going to be waiting for Siege Workshop with some siege rams and such, as Warrior is right now slinking into Winchester as well, quite probably for Imperial Age and Paladins. Yeah, this is going to be just a question of time before all that happens. And you can see that Warrior is also clicking into Castle Age, so he's going to be stopping with a full-on sling. That's interesting to see. And we might be seeing something extra from him. Well, let's just follow what he does. Quite nicely set up in here. With the blue player, of course, owning the water around the purple island, but really, I don't really think that purple man minds all that much, especially since he's left to gather all the stone in here. Oh, that's sloppy from Moneymon. That's really a big shame. But looking at chemistry for Moneymon, are we going to be seeing Canon Galleons? If so, that still could be a pretty big problem for Winchester, because he's going to be losing absolutely everything in here, as that will be well in range. And even, I think, on the right side, a bit of a farm scene here. So yeah, this game is far from over, most definitely, and there's still going to be a lot of fight to be had. In the middle, not much happening, as Green is basically just trying to wall himself as much as he can, as he's under pressure from trebuchets already, losing at least a few town centers in here. But yeah, all the plumed archers are joining into the fun together with the purple player, and yellow seems to be basically the only one facing him and his opponent at this stage. And his ally at this stage, because it seems like that Moneymon is so far just content being on the water, as he's also switching into Siege Workshop as a Viking, of course. And Imperial Age coming from Winchester, well, yeah, that's quite of course going to be a big threat to his opponents, as he's probably going to be switching into the Paladins. One stable so far in here. Is he building stables somewhere else so far? Ah, yeah. He has built a lot of stables in here, so he's definitely switching. You can see forging, chain barding armor, Imperial Age from Cambridge as well. That's also important to notice. And he's going a bit more forward with all the rams in here, and he's definitely pushing forward together with his ally. So yeah, it seems like that ByT is definitely better do something faster, rather fast, as the situation is getting a bit dire for them, and there might not be all that much of a time for them to do something extra. At the top, we see still the boaties getting rather keeping in check their opponent's base on the mainland in here, but in here, yeah, since Kurch isn't really forced to go into his opponent, he's going just slowly with the castle push. And the trebuchet is here. He's basically just controlling the green player, and with his main army going for a bit of raiding and help into the purple player. So far doing a pretty good job, but the mangonel shots are kinda tough in here. But looking at the economy, we have Pox of 57. That's not really enough, but Warrior 59, so yeah. Cambridge 82, Monaimon 91, whereas Winchester is 101 and Courage 77, so yeah, the economies are slightly better for Winchester, mainly, so for VIK mainly. And here we see the GGs being called as, yeah, this was getting pretty tough with the Imperial Age and the Cavaliers into Winchester. Yeah, the situation is pretty tough, and not even the Cannon Galleons, possibly, from Monaimon would be enough in here, because, yeah, the game is unfortunately a bit too much out of ByT's hands, and that means that they are winning the second game, well, already third game today, and with the breach of the walls in here, yeah, with all the raiding. Oh! Oh, that's because some villagers actually got through in here. I'm not exactly sure who it was. Maybe it was on the left side. Courage from the left, or maybe it was somebody from the right side who was just stupid. But well, there was still a way through at the bottom, so yeah, Teal just got inside the base. And that was just a bit too much for ByTs, so well played. Let's have a look at the achievements. Where Courage, well, kinda undeserved, I think, because he was quite hammered at the start, and Poxo was playing much better recognized the situation, and then Cambridge was playing quite nicely. Monaimon as well, so ByTs were playing definitely quite well, but VIKs, yeah, they were able to overcome it somehow, mainly due to Winchester's experience, I think, because yeah, he was the one under attack mainly in there, and dealing the damage through the raids as well. And pretty good slaying by Warrior. That was a good choice in there, because really, the Vikings are kinda useless in the land fights. GG then. GG then.